In this video lesson, I am going to explain selection statements with multiple conditioning criteria. The best way to understand this is by an example. So I am going to create a new program, which I am going to call V9. And in this program, I am going to do a modification of our previous program. If you remember, in our previous program, which is this one, we had asked the user to enter his or her age, and then we have outputted whether the user can drive a car or not. We have decided whether to drive or not based on the age of the user. Now, in this program, which is going to be a modification of the previous one, we are going to include multiple criteria. So instead of just outputting whether the user can drive a car or not, we are going to output which type of vehicle the user can drive. So as you can see here in the comments section, a user that is up to 17 years old cannot drive. A user that is between 18 and 20 years old can only drive a car. A user that is between 21 and 23 can drive a car and a truck, while a user which is 24 or older can drive a car, a truck and a bus. So in order to implement this program, I am going to write my main method, and I am going to declare an instance of scanner, and I am going to ask the user to enter his age. Now, instead of doing an if-else statement as we have done in the previous example, we are going to include an if statement with multiple criteria, so with multiple ifs. In such case, where we have ranges, the trick is to either start from the smallest one and going up, or otherwise start from the largest range and always go down. I am going to start by checking whether the user is 24 years or older. So I am going to write an if statement, and I'm going to check whether age is greater or equal to 24. If age is greater or equal to 24, I am going to output that the user can drive a car, a truck and a bus. As you can see, like this. Now the trick is that when we continue our if, instead of just writing an else, I am going to write an else if. So our else is going to have a conditional criteria. So else if, and now I am going to check the second band. So else if age is greater or equal to 21, I am going to output that the user can only drive a car and a truck. So system.out.println you can drive a car and a truck. Now I am going to check for the third band, which is this one. So else if age is greater or equal to 18, in this case the user can only drive a car. Now we have only one band remaining, so in this case we can use only an else without including any conditional criteria. Please note that when we have an if, else if, else statement, we can have any amount of else ifs clauses. However, we can only have one else. Although technically we can omit the else part, good programming practice suggests that an if, else if, else statement should always end with an else. Now, if I run this program and I tell the program that I am 33 years old, it will output that I can drive a car, a truck and a bus. If I run the program again and tell it that I am 25 years old, 22 years old, it will tell me that I can drive a car and a truck. If I run it again and give it, for example, 18, it will tell me that I can drive a car. If I give it that I am, for example, 15 years old, it will tell me that I cannot drive. Now let's do some debugging of this program. So I am going to include a breakpoint there and run this program in debug mode. I am going to give it, for example, 33, and I want you to note that since the age is 33, therefore this condition is true, it will execute that line of code. But if you now follow the green line, you will note that as soon as I click here on the step over button, the green line will skip the rest of the if statement, as you can see there. If I run the program again in debug mode and I give it, for example, 20, since age is 20, the first condition will not hold because age is not greater or equal to 24. So Java will go to the next condition, as you can see here. Now the next condition is checking whether the age is greater or equal to 21. Again, in this case, since age is 20, this condition doesn't hold as well. So when I step over, it will go to the next selection statement. In this case, age is 20 and we are checking whether it is greater or equal to 18. So yes, in this case, age is greater or equal to 18. So when I step over, it will go into the scope of this part of the statement, output for us you can drive a car, and it will skip the else. That is how this if, else if, else statement works.